Got it. Cool. Hey, it's Lynn. Well, shall we just get everybody introduced as people are joining? And what we typically do is introduce ourselves and then call on someone else. So Josh Morin, I serve as the chair for the Colorado Tree Care Sector Partnership and run We Love Trees, which is a small tree care business here in Niwot, Colorado. I also serve on the TCIA Board of Directors as well. And I'm going to pass it to Alex.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alex Clowen. I'm the Work-Based Learning Navigator with Employment Services Weld County. We have our Youth Conservation Corps here, and we've sent some people into our apprenticeships. Holly is normally with me as well, but she's busy today, so I'll be taking notes and passing this on to her.
Cool. Go ahead and pick somebody.
Right. I will pass it on to David.
Hello, I'm David with Arborist. Like Josh, I own a small tree company. In Denver, we do mostly all our work on the south side of town. And I will pass it on to Kelly.
Hey guys, good morning. My name is Kelly Mazer. I am the Executive Director for the ISA Rocky Mountain chapter.
Welcome, Kelly.
I
Do you
hope
want to pass it to the other Kelly?
I was just going to pass it to the other Kelly.
Can't hear you. No, still no sound, Kelly. You're muted. Yeah, can't unmute.
How's that?
That's gotcha. We're having some audio challenges on your end, Kelly. We'll pass it on to, how about Emily?
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Berger. I'm with Denver Economic Development and Opportunity, and I'm an employer services liaison focusing on production, agriculture, construction, and energy. So this is my first time with the group. I'm super happy to be here. I will pass it to Lindsay.
Thanks, Emily. Hey, everyone. It's really good to be here again. It's definitely been a couple of months since I've been able to attend one of these meetings. We've been sort of head down with Denver Digs Trees, which is our annual tree distribution. So as of this last Sunday, there's 1,200 new trees in the ground in Denver. So hopefully we're growing your future work, and some future apprentices will be up in those trees someday. But I'm a program manager with the Park People, working with Madeline to develop a pre-apprenticeship. And just great to see everyone's faces. I'm sure everyone's super busy. Let's see, I'll pass it down to Mike.
Good morning, everybody. It's Mike Earl, Old Growth Tree Service, owner-operator up in the Eagle Valley. Sit on the board with Josh and David and Kelly, and working to bring the apprenticeship program to the Rocky Mountain region in the western slope of Colorado. Brian?
Everyone, I'm Brian McCoy. I'm the city forester in Westminster. Yeah, we just provide a spot for the tree training to take place for the apprenticeship program. Nice to see you all. Let's go, Nikki.
Good morning, everyone. Nikki Lucas with the Place Setting Company. We provide administrative support for the partnership, so you likely get lots of emails from me. Let's see who is left. Madeline?
Hi, everyone. Nice to see some new faces here. I work with Lindsay, as she already mentioned, with the Park People. I'm the Workforce Development Manager. I'm looking forward to a good meeting today. Let's see. Who else? Can someone raise their hand if they haven't gone? Okay, Lynn or Joseph.
Hi, Lynn Bossler, Front Range Community College, and we provide the related learning portion for the Arborist Apprenticeship. And I'll pass it to Nancy.
Good morning. I'm Nancy Murray. I'm with KUA and the Apprenticeship Hub, and I have been filling in for Kat, trying to see what I can do to support either the development of programs if you don't already have them, or support for your apprentices when you do have them, for those who need support. So I shall pass it off to Kat, who is back now. Hopefully she can come off camera or come back on camera.
Oh, I didn't realize my camera went off. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know, Nancy. I'm Kat Plaza. I'm a statewide registered apprenticeship consultant. And so Nancy's been here helping, probably doing a great job. She's very familiar with this program and excited to be back. And we're here to help you streamline the ability to connect with workforce. And like Nancy said, if there's any new program development, hopefully we'll have one submitted by the end of this week. Is hopefully what we're shooting for here, and excited to see what's going on in the world now. And Joseph.
Thanks for bearing with me. Had on mute there. DPS ACE Connect, Alternative Cooperative Education Connection. That's my team. I am an internship coordinator there. Glad to see Emily did that position as well. Yeah, I'm just looking to make some connections for students, possibly this summer, especially for tree cares. I have some students interested in working outside, so let's talk.
Awesome. Welcome, Joseph, and welcome everyone that's here first time. And yeah, we can go ahead and dive right in to our agenda. Nikki, I don't know if you can share our agenda on the screen. That would be great.
Was Jim able to, did I miss that, Jim?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. Jim, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jim Klett from Colorado State University Department of Horticulture and Landscape Architecture. Just here to listen, see how things are going. Be glad if I can be of any help to help in the department up here at Fort Collins. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Jim. Anyone else? All right. So let's just go ahead and jump right into Arborist Apprenticeships. Do we have any updates? I think we've finished out our classes for the year. I don't know, Lynn, do you have any updates for us besides some of the subject matter experts that still have yet to submit all of their information?
Right, yeah. Still waiting for information from some of the instructors so we can get everybody paid, but the classes, yay, Josh, the classes are all finished, and we did have our graduation with our 4 folks who finished all 3 sessions. And I think we're going to talk more about, Josh, do you want me to jump into the delivery of the related learning? Are you going to cover that?
If you have some things there, that'd be great, Lynn, if you want to jump in with that.
Yeah, we just have seen some pretty big retention in the 2nd and 3rd years. So we're going to spend some time this summer. Actually, we need to do it in June, May and June, so we can start getting ready for next year, but kind of retooling to look at maybe a 2-year program and putting some of the information into videos and things like that. So we're not using quite as much classroom time. And we're going to include students and instructors and employers and the leadership team to really dive in and take a look at how we maybe retool this program. In addition, we're applying for a grant to help us fund that process because it will take some production of videos. We want to work closely with TCIA to see where they're at, so we're not duplicating efforts because they are doing some of the same work.
Cool. Thanks for that update, Lynn. Yeah, I think we recognize that, and this is all like a process and a continuum, and we, have the, are able to celebrate the success of graduating our first cohort of journey worker arborists. And so looking forward to, each of the companies that have them giving them their certificate of completion. And then we want to look at, well, what's working, what's not. And I think we all know that the cost of the delivering the related learning is a barrier. And also the implications for the non-productive time. And so, we have to address those issues as we continue to develop and make this program sustainable. So that's really what Lynn is talking about. And there's some strong efforts happening, not only, through Front Range Community College, but also with the tree care industry. They're continuing to bring out more online curriculum so that we can, deliver this learning in a way that really works for businesses. It has to work for the businesses. So that's where we are. And so I don't know if anybody has any thoughts or questions or comments on that and what Lynn was talking about there. No, all right, cool. And just as an example of that, we do have this list through the Front Range Community College website where people that are interested in arborist apprenticeship can fill out a form and submit their information. And then we do respond to them by asking them to take this online introduction to arboriculture, which is an online learning module that Tree Care Industry Association offers for free. So if anybody's interested in seeing what the online learning looks like, I'd encourage you to hop onto that training module and see it. And that's kind of the framework that'll be used moving forward with additional training modules. So, that's what's in place. Yeah. Then Nikki, I don't know if you can share that agenda again as we keep moving forward.
Yes, I just was gonna real quick chime in, and maybe you can just quickly elaborate that with this review of the program, it really will be helpful to get all of the employers who are hosting apprentices on the competency-based version. And I think that is the case, that all of them are. I can't remember if we said Summit was competency-based. Okay, so just kind of highlighting that will assist in this.
Yeah, in the effort to, really in competency-based apprenticeship as compared to the hybrid-based is really focusing on the apprentices being able to demonstrate the competencies of the skills and the knowledge, and that's really the focus, rather than saying, hey, you have to spend a certain amount of time. It just gives us more flexibility. And so I think moving forward, anyone that does register apprentices or does register to be a sponsor of registered apprenticeship should be doing that as a competency-based model. It's a lot more flexible. Yeah. So we, just wanted to talk about, and Nikki, I don't know if you wanted to expand on this any, but we did submit for the grant to get some funding to help us with a couple programs that line up with apprenticeship. We collaborated, I think David Merriman with Arborscapes, Mike Earl with Old Growth, and then I don't know if any other companies got in. Myself with We Love Trees, we all submitted for some efforts we wanted to get funding to support our apprenticeship programs. And we submitted that grant, correct, Nikki?
Yep, we applied yesterday about 30 minutes prior to the deadline, but we applied. We're officially in consideration.
All right. So yeah, we'll see. And, they said there's better, odds of receiving funding when you do that as a group, like through the sector partnership. And then I don't know if there's other funding to support apprentices or apprenticeships out there, if anybody has any updates on that.
I think Nancy, maybe you were going to mention a few things if there were any other funding opportunities for apprenticeships.
Okay, gotta find that mute button. And of course, a mower is right outside my my window
can't
too,
hear
so
it.
I apologize if we're loud. Yes, I think, and in fact, Kat, are you able to find that link? Because I don't think I can do the two things at the same time. And Nikki, I don't know that I sent you the guidance yet, but after I sent the referral flyer or shared that at our last meeting, and after some of the questions that came up in that meeting, I developed a guidance sheet, which is really for employers to have to kind of better understand how can we access funding, what are the apprentices, what can they expect, what can the businesses expect depending on their role in that whole process, what scholarships are available and what are not available. And I don't know, Kat, were you able to stick that in the chat? No, I don't see it. Let me see if I can.
Oh, did you want me to put the link? I've been trying to share it. I was just gonna email. I was just trying to message Nikki and ask her if I could share. Sorry. Did you want the link in the chat or did
Yeah,
you?
why don't you stick it in the chat and then I can pull it up real quick and share it. So we did share last week the workforce referral, which has contacted every workforce region where apprentices live. So that would be the place where they would likely want to go and seek funding. And in years past, it's always been kind of a crapshoot of who that person would be. We've gotten folks committed now, so it's a little clearer who that would be. And then, so let me see here. Looks like Kat, you stuck it in, but I'm not seeing it. Is that it?
I put it in both of our chats, just not the public one because I didn't know if it was a public document.
It is. It's a public document.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is. So Nikki, can I share this? Okay. So this is out and available. And so hopefully this kind of clarifies some funding options. There are two kinds of grants. If you already have apprentices who have been enrolled in Rapids, then they are eligible for up to $750, a scholarship of up to $750. If you have new hires or new apprentices, they are eligible for up to $3,200. And the tricky part with this funding is they have to be enrolled in the grant before they're enrolled in Rapids. So if you hire people in June and you enroll them in Rapids right away after hire, then you need to contact or get them to contact Workforce ASAP before they're registered in Rapids to get registered in the grant. If you hire in June and then you determine this person is really great, and in October you decide to enroll them in in the registered apprenticeship program, then reach out to the workforce center before you do that. Some workforce centers can turn this around pretty quickly and some may take a little bit of time. So I would suggest if you know that is coming, reach out to them 3 to 4 weeks ahead. Hopefully we're working really hard to get that down to be a much faster process. But I just would say right now, if you know that you've got a current employee, you'd like to see if you can get funding, try to reach out to the workforce region before. I think that while we probably need each individual apprentice to reach out to those workforce centers, if we've got kind of a collective and we know where they're coming from, I think Kat or I can kind of coordinate those workforce regions and give them all a heads up so they understand who's coming and then they're ready to take them. But they probably need to kind of work with each of those individual workforce regions so that all the documents get collected and we don't have to be coming back to everybody willy-nilly and like that. So any questions? Yeah.
Thank you for that, Nancy and Kat. Yeah, I just want to clarify, just sort of, clear action steps, right? So as an employer, we hire someone that aligns with arborist apprenticeship in terms of we'd like to get them enrolled as an apprentice. So we have a new hire. We think we want them to be an apprentice. Our next steps are to reach out to workforce or to reach out to one of you. Like what's the best next step there?
You can reach out to one of us, to me, and I'll be your main contact going forward. So as the employer, if you can reach out to me, and then we can work on what those steps look like.
Okay.
As soon as you've identified, and because we know that you're going to hire potentially in this industry, we hire, and then we're going to determine if they're a good fit, maybe potentially throughout the season.
Yeah.
So once you're starting to identify who could be future apprentices, let's start having those conversations as you're beginning to identify those people, so that we can make that plan correct, that plan of attack correctly. Because the other thing is we may have to allow them time, because we are working with the government, and so they will have to meet with the workforce center and in some capacity during normal business hours. So that's another thing, that if they're already your employee, that we'll have to work around as well. Hopefully we can help, all work together, but that's another little, not flag, but a little barrier. We want to make sure that we're not, that we're avoiding in the,
Sure.
being
Just
a
the
barrier,
reality of
excuse
like
me.
setting that up.
Yep.
And then, so hey, if you have somebody, think you're about to hire somebody that aligns with apprenticeship, reach out to Kat, right? If you have someone so like, for example, I'll use myself. I have Andrew, who's new employee as of last October. He was enrolled in the related learning, throughout this past winter. So he is in the rapid system. It sounds like there's a $750 grant available that I could apply towards upcoming future related learning for him, or,
So that's
what
the
would I do there?
same money that we used. So if I came to if they were in the
Yep.
class that I came to, then the amount was 500 at that time. And so now it's up to 750, depending upon, because we're getting further in the time period of the grant.
Yep.
So if they've already received that, it's the same scholarship. But it is open to anyone who was put into Rapids after July 1st, 2019. So any of the any other apprentices that weren't in that cohort that I went to last year, or I helped Arbor Tech with one of the second-year apprentices because they were transitioning their program. So just if you think, reach out to me and we can evaluate. We can take a look at what was there. But if they received the funding that I supported last year, it's the same funding.
And Josh, just
Okay,
real
and they're
quick,
still
I'm-
eligible for that in this coming year.
No, they're only eligible for the funding one time. However, if you're talking specifically about Andrew, I don't believe Andrew received the funding. I'm not sure. We might have a question about him. So that may be
Okay.
something to just kind of sort out, and we can see if there is something that can be done.
Okay, so if you had an apprentice last year that did receive that $500, then they are not eligible this year.
Correct.
If they got the money, it sounds like there might have been some logistical errors. So
Okay.
the best thing to do is, if you're an organization and you want an audit of where you fit, just reach out to myself and we will give you a customized response to who could qualify. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
One other quick question. Is it with intention that link that you shared in the chat lands on a Microsoft 365 sign-in page? Or can you share the PDF version? It's asking us to log into Arapahoe County 365 SharePoint.
Okay.
I was worried about that. We can send it to Nikki. We'll get a PDF to Nikki to go with the
I'll do that right now while you all are talking, so we get it to you by the end of the meeting.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike.
Cool. Does anybody have any other questions there? Appreciate Nancy and Kat reviewing those grant opportunities. Anybody have any other questions, comments?
And then Nikki, thank you, Nikki. Just put my email in the chat.
Cool.
But yeah, as soon as you think that you're going to have apprentices, as soon as you're identifying those individuals, let's get our game plan together, so that way we can make sure that everyone is supported appropriately. But like Nancy said, these are the guidance. This is where essentially where people could fall, where our apprentices could fall.
Yeah, no, I just that, I run into the opportunity. I have a new hire that really lines up well with apprenticeship. Unfortunately, I don't have the corresponding journey worker, to do the one-on-one. So that's kind of like we put that into that, grant, but that's some of the limitation, in the program is, you got to have an identified journey worker to do the one-to-one on the job training. So that's just an example of that.
Thank you for putting that, identifying that in the grant, because that could help us with future opportunities as well. So thank you.
I do have a quick question and thought around this, since we're partnering with the Second Chance Center, and they have the capacity in-house to help pre-apprentices navigate these sorts of applications. And so, they're intending to apply for this type of funding on behalf of pre-apprentices, and also on behalf of us. And so knowing that our expenses won't be that high per individual as the funding is available, I think that, we could work with certain of you all in our partnership capacity here to identify what would be helpful for people to have prior to entering employment with you or an apprenticeship program, so that we could expedite that and get those materials in their hands, ahead of time, and help you on the sort of paperwork and processing end.
Cool. Thank you for that, Lindsay. I appreciate the offer. And I think I think that lines up for anybody. We can pursue that. So yeah, awesome. Just looking at the agenda, anybody have anything else on this topic? Just looking at the agenda moving forward, I think maybe some updates on pre-apprenticeship.
I'm happy to hop in and do some updates on pre-apprenticeship if that's cool. Yeah. So, like I said, it's just really good to be here again and to catch up with all of you. I know Madeline's just been working hand in hand with so many of you in the development of the pre-apprenticeship. She's sort of been this minority report style rock star, wrangling lawyers and nursery people and support services partner and tree care company owners and municipal foresters, and just so much more in order to coordinate what's shaping up to be just an industry leading pre-apprenticeship. Really, we've gotten some really excellent feedback from those partners that have, taken the time to review our curriculum. So we're feeling like we're entering the season on solid footing. And we started this out knowing that the tree care industry has a hiring gap or shortfall of over 200 forestry workers per year. So we really feel like we were developing this to respond to a perceived need in the community. And we know that right now there's just so much national and local attention shining on the importance of trees in our cities. And so we know the demand for, high quality tree care employees will only increase. Organizations like the Park People are receiving sort of unprecedented attention and being asked to plant sort of exponentially more trees than we ever have before. And each and every one of those trees is going to take care and lifelong stewardship, as you all know. Trees kind of wouldn't be here if it weren't for all of these wonderful people in their cars and streets and houses and all of those things. So just taking care of them, in my mind, is almost more important than planting them. We're super excited just at the level of support that we've received from this sector partnership. We just couldn't thank you guys enough for all of the advice and support and ongoing just involvement that you've had in our program. And we're excited to continue that relationship, partnering with many of you in one or more ways, either as a training partner, instructor, mentor, or ultimately as an employer. So I think, as most of you know, we're offering an on-the-job training component where employers like you all can opt to host 1 to 3 of our pre-apprentices 1 day a week throughout the month of September. We know that this ability to have an extended on-the-job interview is exciting, and we're super pleased to be able to provide sort of a paid experience to our pre-apprentices. so that you all can receive this opportunity, free of charge, which I think is hopefully just an exciting thing to be able to get to know people and try them out in your team and assess their skills and their interest level at sort of a low risk, 3 to 4 to 5 day opportunity. We do know that this level of commitment on both sides should be reserved only for those partners seeking to hire immediately upon completion of the program. So we do hope that it will be seen as sort of a fast track to entering the apprenticeship. But for those of you who aren't seeking to hire right away or aren't seeking to enter, any of our pre-apprentices directly into an apprenticeship with you all, we do have many other ways to partner. Some of the ones I sort of mentioned above: training partner, instructor, mentor. So at this juncture, as we develop this and sort of solidify our relationships with all of our different partners, we've developed a survey. We were going to ask that we take sort of 5 minutes today to fill this survey out, like right now, just knowing how busy the season is and how hard it is to get to the computer when, you're out in the field all the time. But kind of taking a poll around the room here, there's not a lot of you that maybe it would be applicable to right now. So I'm going to pop the link in the chat, and if you're interested in providing some baseline data for us that will help us evaluate our program going forward, if you're interested in signing up to partner with us in 2 or more different ways that are listed in the survey, we'd love to have you complete that survey. We'll be reaching out individually to many of you and asking that you do that. It's less than 5 minutes. It's really assessing like what your interest is in hiring, how many people you've historically hired, what your barriers to hiring are, and identifying ways that you think would be really useful to you as an organization and getting involved with our pre-apprenticeship, because ultimately we're in this for you, right? Like, we're here to provide some baseline training and hopefully some level of energy and enthusiasm and pre-screening for retreat care, so that you're getting people applying to your positions that know what they're getting into and want to be there. So I'll pop that link in. As I do that, I'm wondering if we could just take like a hot second for each of you to answer one question, which is, how many people are you thinking or seeking to hire in 2022? Specifically at the entry level, but I'd be interested in sort of any information regarding your hiring scene for this year.
Cool. So putting that out to the private companies here, or, I know, Brian, you're on the line, your municipality. I don't know, Kelly, you got an answer over there?
Am I back in terms of audio? I had to literally do updates and restart. So yeah, I would imagine I'm betting between all of my Colorado branches, we're probably between 10 and 12 entry level. So that's a very conservative number.
Old Growth Tree Service hired 15 new employees in the tree removal fire mitigation world, and we hired 5 in tree care, plant health care side of things this year.
Yeah, for me, we love trees. We just hired an entry level. I'm in the need for really someone that's at this point that's skilled, that I can match up 1-to-1. I know that we will have future need for entry level, but we're still pretty small there. David, I don't know if you have any, Merriman.
Yeah, we just hired 2 employees last week, and I will be looking for 1 more entry level. But I have a couple people that are moving out of state to go back and take care of their parents. So I'm looking for skilled traits too, like you. I need another PHC person. I need a salesperson. So I can only work 14 hours a day.
Lindsay, I appreciate you sharing this and also offering up the survey. And it occurs to me that, like, I don't know, Brian McCoy, do you have a response? I don't know if you're still there in terms of municipal side. Looks like Brian's still muted. What does occur to me, we have Kelly Mazer with the ISA on the call. And, I think really the opportunity here, Lindsay, is that we raise awareness to the greater, chapter. I mean, I think that's probably the easiest, most direct access to, people that need to hire and that would be hiring out of this pre-apprenticeship pool. So I think that's probably, some type of email or something. If Kelly, would be open to entertaining that might be a good ask, because, as we have a core group of people that are attending our tree care and participating in the tree care sector partnership. And that's really pretty small as compared to like the actual industry, right? Like how many tree care companies are out there and how many of them are like, I can't find people, right? So what we really want to be able to do is connect your program with those people. And I think that, one opportunity there might be a little late, but there's the ISA tree climbing competition, right? That's coming up, so that would be a really great way to connect with, these potential, the employers and raising awareness. And then there's also the ISA conference, which is coming up, which might be an opportunity to present actually on this sort of in motion pre-apprenticeship program that's happening. Those are a couple ideas that are just coming up. So, it's sort of reaching out to see if Kelly be up for sending the survey out to ISA membership with, some background on the pre-apprenticeship as well.
I love that idea. And we were pretty excited about the climbing competition. The timing of it syncs up almost identically with our recruitment event. So we'll be, working with Second Chance Center to do just a full day pre-screening and application and not really orientation, but pre-screening and application to enroll our first cohort. And they had mentioned kind of trying to showcase the field, right? So that we could really present our best face or some of our more interesting facets to the potential pre-apprentices. And when the climbing competition came up, it just felt like it was at the perfect time. So I'd like to see if we could invite some potential recruits to the program to attend the competition and really get a feel for some of the more exciting aspects of the field. And I think that might save everybody, an additional ask of, hey, could you come showcase the field 2 days later?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. And typically the experience with the tree climbing competition is we're doing it and people are like randomly walk by like, oh, what's this? What's going on? Right. So, the more people that can come and see that and watch and spectate, the better. Just to understand, that's part of showcasing the profession. So that might be a great opportunity to do that. And then, having a presence potentially at the ISA conference. I know they were taking ideas for presentations. I submitted one through the sector partnership. I think if that gets approved, maybe there's a way for you all to piggyback on that or to, share what you're up to at the conference as well, just to raise awareness.
We'd love that. Josh, when are the dates for that?
I don't know. And I'm kind of speaking, Kelly, I don't know if you heard this, but we're looking for dates for the, I think the tree climbing competition, but the ISA conference.
National or the chapter conference?
The chapter.
The chapter conference itself will happen in October 20th and 21st. The deadline for the call for presentations, I want to say, is the end of June. Let me double check.
Yeah. So sort of post program for you, it sounds like, Lindsay and Madeline. But maybe that's a great time too to then see, because you're planning on having this be an ongoing program. So,
Yeah, that'd be great. I think as we wrap up our first cohort, we'll be entering those discussions of the best way to expand the program and, wondering if that is to do multiple cohorts throughout the year, so like a spring, summer, fall cohort, or if the best way for us to proceed is to, run 3 cohorts simultaneously during a certain season of the year, so that we're releasing sort of a lot of pre-apprentices at one point in time. So there's a lot of learning that we're hoping to do this fall, and a key component of that obviously is jobs, right? Like, we want to make sure that there is a job or apprenticeship opportunity at the conclusion of our program for each and every person that wants one.
Yeah. And, and that's that's that disconnect, right? Which is like, you hear people saying, I need people, right? And you have people saying, I need a job, right? And making sure those are connecting, and making sure that everybody that does need to hire someone feels like this program can be a solution for them,
And while I know we need to respect time and move forward, I will just sort of say one more thing, and that's, even though we know that we're graduating in the fall and that's not peak hiring, we are also, I'll say one more time, hoping to fast track into the apprenticeship. And we're also hoping to, release people into full-time year-round jobs. And so knowing that winter hires and fall hires maybe have a higher likelihood of being that full-time year-round position rather than a March hire that might just be an on-call or a seasonal. So also just kind of putting that out there into the world, that we're looking for like good, mortgage paying jobs.
Yep.
I would really recommend starting to make those introductions. Don't have the individuals wait till the fall to start building those relationships, because in our world, as we ebb and flow, all of the qualified team members come online in the fall that are looking for a year-round job, even if they say they'll stay with you year-round and then they stay with you for a winter and take off or whatever. But just make sure you're starting to build relationships over the next month or two.
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate that. I hope we're on the right track there.
And Kelly, I don't know if you heard earlier, we were saying this opportunity maybe for, this pre-apprenticeship program to be broadcast to ISA membership. I don't know if that's a possibility.
Yes, I can share it with the chapter membership.
Cool. And then, and I wonder, to Lindsay, Madeline, a lot of times, the decision makers on this, right, with hiring and a lot of this, like, I think that, the level of professionalism and structure that Save-A-Tree has is probably like, top of the mountain, right? And then, sort of there's all different levels, right, for all different types of companies and municipalities. And so, the success of matching up a pre-apprentice with an opportunity, I think a lot of times boils down to like the connection and the network. And, that might be like just picking up the phone and saying, hey, we have this opportunity, or you guys looking for people to hire, in your company? And they're like, yeah, we are. Great. Let me tell you about this, see if it lines up with you. I think that would be, in my view, a good use of effort, because it's, rather than sitting back and saying, well, why can't we connect with these people that supposedly need to hire? I think it's calling them up, and saying, hey, who's in charge of hiring? Like, Randy Grady, and this is outside of your area right now, but there's a lot of firms within the Denver metro area that are probably in that, like, small business, don't have an HR department, it's just getting a hold of that business owner and making a connection with them.
Absolutely. And we'd appreciate any introductions and referrals along the line. We are not afraid to pick up the phone.
Cool. All right. Well, appreciate your updates. Do you have something?
I think one other thing too, I know that there's a ton of reputable companies down in the metro area. I'm sure that the more involved you're with the ISA, the more you'll start to meet some of those individuals. And then you could also download the TCIA accredited company list, which I think is only 14 or 15 companies in the state. And those companies usually have a culture of training that's a little different than than the small companies that don't have the ability yet.
And I would just throw out there, Lindsay, that I'd be happy to, maybe it makes sense for us to share a presentation or a booth or whatever with ISA. So happy to do that.
This has been extraordinarily helpful. Thank you, Lynn and Mike and Josh and everyone. Yeah. Really appreciate it.
All right, we got to keep rocking and rolling through the agenda. Appreciate it, Madeline and Lindsay. What's up next there, Nikki? So we talked about the pre-apprenticeship. We have upcoming the May 26th. We want to reschedule that, right?
I think we're going to ask and kind of check if that was a conflict for people because it is close to Memorial Day week. It's the Thursday before.
So a straw poll, we have the next meeting would be the Thursday before Memorial Day. I know for myself that typically is a kind of a busy time, and then you have a holiday weekend after. I don't know. We could, just want to throw that out there, or should we keep the meeting?
Do you want to do like a reaction? Have people put a thumbs up if they're okay with keeping it?
Is it better to keep the meeting than to go through the head trauma of finding another one? Okay, cool. Lindsay says no. All right. Kelly says no. All right. I see. Yeah. All right. So looks like let's keep the meeting for now. Is that what we came to? Democratic method. We had some nays in there, but we also had quite a number of they could do it.
Perhaps we can review the potential agenda items and decide if they're important enough to keep the meeting going and make the decision off of that.
Sounds good.
We don't want to lose momentum, but yeah,
we recognize, it's tough time of year and also with the holiday weekend there. Okay, so let's plan on keeping it for now. I just had a quick couple, do we have another event on there? Nikki, I couldn't see, sorry.
It was the climbing championship. So I think we did share a lot of information about that. The one question from the chat that I'm not for sure if it got answered. Kelly, are you still looking for volunteers? Great. So I think unless Kelly wants to chime in anything else about the climbing championships, I think we covered that.
I'll just add that we are completely full for climbers in the men's division. We do have 10 female climbers and we're willing to take more. If you guys know of any, please send them my way. So we're pretty full in terms of competitors, but if anybody's interested in having a presence there, whether it's a table or you just want to volunteer, would love to have you there. So I have the link in the chat and you can also reach out to me directly.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Moving on, I had a couple quick updates, just wanted to share. They didn't really make it onto the agenda. Last week, I was able to participate in the Colorado Youth Career Fair. This was under the agriculture, heading. There were a number of other participants. This was online, so we basically got to be panelists and share about our profession to high schoolers that are interested in careers in sort of the agriculture and natural resources field. There's someone who's representing veterinary medicine, someone representing water management. There were a few others. Seems like it went well. We had some, a Q&A afterwards. Got some good feedback. And one of the things that did come out of that is they put out an email requesting or offering this opportunity to for people that'd be interested in coming and speaking to high schools about the career path of arborist. So I thought this was something we could put out as an agenda item in the future, is to see, obviously we're coming towards the close of the year, but I think if we wanted to plan for something in the fall, and I know this is something that Megan was working on. She can't be here today, but I think it'd be something to pop over to her and see if we can respond to that as a sector partnership, because that would be, you know, just another way to raise awareness and potentially recruit. So overall, positive experience. The only other thing I had as an open topic that isn't on the agenda is I did get an email just yesterday about this potential opportunity of I think it's called the IRC, the International Rescue Commission. They have a number of Afghan refugees that are potentially looking for positions, full-time work that would line up with entry-level positions as in our field. So that's something I could share out there if anybody's interested in following up with them. So I'll share that with you, Nikki, the information for that. Pass it on. Cool deal. And then I think we're on to any open topics and business realities or updates from any of the membership. Cool, will do. Doesn't sound like we have any ongoing issues or open topics. Everybody good?
Nothing new anyway. Same old.
Same old, yeah. Does anybody else have anything? One thing I wanted to talk about is, and this is someone that we could maybe also dialogue with about alignment with the sector partnership, is there's a company out there called Academy Trained. They're putting on a 2-day Arborist skills training program. I'm actually sending our new entry-level employee, Emily, up to that tomorrow. It's up in Loveland. And so I think they represent on the private side a training partner that it would be good for us to see where we may or may not align in terms of some of our efforts, in terms of training, upskilling, arborists. I know one of the days is chainsaw skills, so it sounds like just a lot of, practicing notches and some of the basics, and then they'll get on to climbing as well. So I thought to reach out to them to see if they have an interest. If it sounds like they're possibly setting up a facility in Loveland, I'm not totally clear on that, but that would be another future opportunity potentially.
Is this the group out of California?
Yep. Yeah. I think Phil Rogacki. I know Luke Peters, I think is working with them as well. So cool. All right. Well, we're about 5 minutes early. I'm not looking at the agenda. Nikki, I don't know if you have anything else on there. Did I miss anything? Or we miss anything? No. Anyone else have announcements for the general good of humanity or the sector partnership?
Hey, Josh, as we start to look at retooling the related learning, if there are training activities that are happening out there in addition to the apprenticeship training, and we're duplicating efforts, that would be good for us to discuss. So I would like to get more information about this group. Do you have contact information on them?
I do. Well, I could, the email, I can send that to you.
Just forward it to me if you would, and we'll look and see what kind of duplication there is out there.
All right, awesome. Cool deal. Sounds good. Anyone have anything else? No. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your presence and participation. This is a shameless, plug as well. I did record a podcast with the Tree Care Industry Association. They reached out to record one and did that last month and did mention about our apprenticeship program in there. So if anybody is interested in hearing me talk more, you could listen to that podcast. But anyway, just trying to raise awareness about what we're doing and what we're up to. So cool.
Hey, Josh, if you want to stay on for a second, I have a thought for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just real quick.
Cool.